Who knew I had so much in common with Bryce and DeChambeau?
I know.
I've started dodging ropes before I know it.
Love it. Your ball speed consistency with this is so good. Okay guys, welcome back. So we've just taken a deep dive into Paige's golf bag. We've looked through the 14 clubs. Really, really cool setup. But there's definitely a couple of things that even just as your energy changes as you talk about it, right? Really comfortable, love your wedges. Fairway woods, love them. There's scar tissue with the driver, I have that as well. You know, it's there's definitely, talk about, I love this driver because I've had hard times with the driver, that type of thing. But one of the things that stood out was talking about the irons, and specifically in the long irons, and even a little bit about this sort of wedge and kind of the functionality of the irons you have. So I'd love to do a little gapping session with you. Something, guys, that we think you guys should really be, paying attention to. Whether you have new custom clubs, whether you have older clubs, it's always good to know how far they go. There's nothing worse than standing up there and you've got a forced carry over water, over a bunker, and you fall short, and you've hit a perfectly good shot, you've struck it really nicely. You just don't know how far the clubs go. So we're going to do that with Paige right now. We're going to run through these yardages, wedge through to 5. And then by the time we get into the 6 and 5 area, we're going to start talking about, are they working as we want them to work? Are there some nuances with the launch conditions that we think we can get some improvements on? And maybe make some suggestions for even potentially, Paige, a 15th or 16th club, right? Something that if you change the type of course you're going to go and play, and you go from playing in the desert to playing somewhere where you need to flight it down where it's windy, like Florida or something like that, you've got options. It's always good to have a few extra options. Okay, let me trade you.
Let's go.
Let's go to the wedge. Do you have yardages that you expect to hit your clubs, or do you go a little bit more off of feel, like you see a shot, you know a yardage, and you try and feel a shot into it?
Yeah, I would say that I know roughly what my stock yardages are. They change a lot depending on how much I'm playing. I think people probably assume that I get to play a lot, but it's really about shooting a lot of content. And so there are times where I will grind on my game and I will gain around 5 to 10 yards. But again, if you're not practicing and working on your swing consistently, then I notice that my stock yardages will go down a little bit. But even though I have those stock yardages, I love to work shots. It's all about feel. And so sometimes it's like 125 yards and I'll hit an 8-iron or even like a 7-iron, because I just like to really feel the shot. And if I see it and I feel it, then that's just the club that I'll hit, instead of just being like, okay, I know this yardage goes this far, this is what I'm hitting. I really try to really mix it up and just go off of like how I'm feeling.
I thought that would have been your answer, in that, you like the creativity element of the game. I think there's one thing that's, having systems are great when you're obviously trying to play tour golf or play kind of high level golf, but it's also a little bit more fun being that little bit more creative, isn't it? So, okay, let's hit some wedges. Let's see what they're doing.
I will be honest. There's something about this pitching wedge where I just started shanking it, and I don't know why, but I feel like I've lost a little bit of confidence. I love my 50-degree wedge, but then it doesn't quite go as far as my pitching wedge. And so the way that we've got them out before is that we need to make this one a little bit stronger because of what my 50-degree wedge was doing. And I don't know what it is, but I just started shanking it and I can't stop. I feel like Tin Cup.
It needs an exorcism or something. Get the demon out it. Good. So stock yardage then, if we were to say, middle of the fairway, the pin's in the middle of the green, what would be a green light number for pitch and wedge for you?
I would say anywhere from 115 to 125.
Perfect.
Again, I can really juice it up, but just for like a normal easy swing around 80%, it's around 120.
Love it. Okay. One of the kind of boxes for kind of the viewers to watch with Paige's clubs, because I've seen her hit a few irons now, is watch the consistency of the peak height of our golf, or of our ball flight. It will never really stray far from like 75 feet to, call it 79 feet. There's like a sweet spot 5-foot window, Paige, that you flight pretty much everything through. And I think that's another hallmark of a really good player, is just the ball just apexes through the same window all the time. And it's one of the ways in which a player knows they're off if the ball starts apexing below that or apexing above that. So it's very consistent for you to do that. Okay. Okay, so we're around 115-ish with pitch and wedge, which looks good. Again, we'll go into the full data page in a little bit, but I want to kind of keep you flowing. So let's dive into 9.
Okay.
Really good. That one feels solid.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Your delivery with the wedge is very different from the 9.
Is it?
Yeah, you're not. I mean, like, one thing I've learned is that when a player tells you there's something wrong, there's something wrong, right? And sometimes it can take a deep dive. Like, I've already done swing weights in your clubs. They're perfect. The lofts and lies are perfect. There's something, though, with a pitch and wedge that makes you get a little bit more out to in, and it causes you to get a little bit, again, pulley with the wedge. And then at times when you try and open the face, you're going to deliver the heel to it, which is when the unmentionable is going to come in. So there's something going on there with that for sure. I think it could be a length thing. I think we may have to look at the length that your wedge plays, and something a hair longer may actually, if we look at the steeper the golf club, the quicker it gets out in front of us. So if that path is going from out to in slightly, the wedge being a little bit on the short side can sort of hinder us a touch. It just looks like you've fallen into a nice sweet spot with this. Your path has went from being 3-4 degrees out to into 1.
Yeah.
And it's a very different delivery, so it's cool.
Feels different.
Yeah. Good, very good. Stock shots for you right now, are they pretty straight or are they little cuts?
I would say they're fairly straight, and I've been trying to work my swing path a little bit more from the inside.
Okay, so you're trying to see draws?
I'm trying to,
Cool.
just because I do have a tendency to get a little steep and over the top on it. I've been working with Jonathan Yarwood, and that's something that we've really been trying to fix within my swing, because we believe that's why I'm an inconsistent ball striker with my irons, is because I do come over the top and a little steep on it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see that it's getting very neutral now. I mean, if you're within 1 or 2 degrees either side of neutral, I mean, you're playing this game very, very
And that's where we're
straight.
trying to stay, because when I was coming so far over the top, that's where I was getting those two-way misses.
Yeah.
And that's when golf is really scary, when you're standing up on the tee and you don't know where the ball is going to go.
Totally. Perfect. Let's jump into your 8. Do you have a kind of set, sorry, Paige, do you have a set like incremental gain that you have in your yardages? Is it like 10 yards, 9 yards, 11 yards?
It's about like 7.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
About that. Okay.
We'll find out.
Yeah, this will be
Again,
this will
it's
be
like
good.
it's very inconsistent, because I don't ever really hit full shots. Even with my pitching wedge and my 9, I'm around 80%. I really never do full out.
You look very comfortable in the speed,
very
the tempo
smooth,
right now.
yeah.
You're not pushing it at all.
Don't really like to push it. Again, I can, and there will be times on the course that I will do that, but very rarely. And so I don't like to practice at 90 to 100, because I know I'm never going to hit shots like that out on the golf course.
Okay, cool.
I think a lot of people that see that too within my swing, because everyone says I look like I almost like decelerate, but for me, it's just trying to stay smooth throughout the swing.
Good, very good. It's probably up there with the most golf balls you've hit in a while, I guess.
Yep. So I used to work on some stuff. I would say that swing right there was very consistent to what I would normally do, very smooth. Yeah,
I mean, starting to see the peak actually sneak up a little bit. That was really good on a sort of efficiency standpoint, ball speed, 140 in the carry there. So, I mean, for a set of irons that have stronger loft, you spin the ball quite a lot.
Yeah.
You definitely have no issue with stopping power, and your ball holds on the green really easily. It's good to see. 8 irons the sweet spot.
Love my 8-iron, love my 9-iron.
It's funny, you just see people there's just a comfort level somewhere in the delivery. There's an optimal amount of down, there's an optimal amount of path and face delivery.
Yeah.
And it's just, they look so comfortable. Okay. You couldn't have hit me 3 better shots if you tried, I don't think. That was perfect. In all of the equipment that you tried, have you ever experimented with any of the one-length stuff? Did you ever even try it?
We tried it one time and the results were actually really good.
You seem like, again, back to like why the wedge is a little bit of a problem and like where your sweet spot is on your delivery, it would somewhat make sense that you don't have a matched set from a length perspective. Like we got to just find your sweet spot, because the only place it needs to be good is right here.
Yeah.
Right, just has to be good at impact, and we just got to make the club travel through the right space. So I'm not surprised to see, like, was it a set just in trying golf clubs or for a promo shoot or something?
Yeah, we were testing them out just to see, almost, this was when the one length was a big topic of discussion. And we tried it as a joke, and we were looking at the data and we're like,
this is really good.
maybe we should do this. And we never obviously did it, but yeah, when we talk about it, it would almost make sense for me to do that.
You know what? It'd be a fun little experiment to build you a sort of like a backup set almost, or like a test set. I think that would make for some cool content as well. Okay, let's look at some 7s. Flush.
Yeah.
It's good. Path is getting very, very neutral. So, are you thinking about a comeback, or is the professional game back on for you? Or
there are days where I'll shoot like a 66, and I'm like,
seriously,
maybe, and then I'll snap hook one and shoot an 82, and I'm like, you know what, I'm good.
I'm done.
It's not for me.
I'll just enjoy the good days when they come. This is where we're starting to get into
This is where it gets a little dicey.
That territory. Is that a little low in the blade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little thin.
It's crazy, isn't it? Just, half inch of difference in length, and they're kind of all matched and weighted, but it's just that you can fall into the sweet spot and you can fall right back out of it as well.
There, that was better.
Sounded really good. Yeah, there's the pop and ball speed we wanted.
Yeah. It's just inconsistent.
Yeah. And even as we look at the kind of yardages, so there's the really, really good one, 164, and then before that we're like in around the mid-150s.
That's just not right. Okay. So I would say stock on this one is like 160 for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would be, full green lights across the board. Yeah. That looked awesome. Okay. The 5, I nearly called it the dreaded 5, but we'll call it the 5. Give it its place. Really nice.
Yeah, that was good.
That was so good.
The thing with my 5, and I can hit it really well, but it's like the 6 where it's just like I'll hit these shots that I just don't hit. Like comes out of nowhere.
Right.
And I don't know why.
Yeah.
I do know why, but
in a sense of they fly better than you expect, like, or worse.
Both.
Or just
kind of both.
Yeah,
like sometimes I'll catch it, and I can sometimes get this like even up to like 190, and then there's times where I hit it and it just kind of like dribbles to like 145 carry, and I'm like, what just happened?
I mean, that's as good as anyone's hitting a 5-iron right there. That was as high as any shot you've hit today. Good launch and spin. Smash factor's phenomenal. The right amount of ball speed jump we're looking for in that kind of 5 mile an hour hop between clubs, 4 to 5 is ideal. So, I mean, it's perfect. Really, really good. Couple more.
No.
Yeah, no, we're done.
I'm done.
We're one and done.
Let me in there.
Okay.
See, and that's kind of the thing. It didn't feel like that much of a different
No,
swing,
no.
but it just came
Yeah,
off so differently.
The fall off is severe.
Yeah.
10 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like back up again. It's just
Really
so
good.
weird. And it's not like the 6 where I really just did a bad swing a couple times and mishit it. And I know that, like, I felt like the second one was not that bad of a swing.
Yeah. Yeah, you were just penalized way too much. Okay, Paige, so let's take a little look. So the wedge was definitely one that we kind of like, we knew it was something funky was going on with that. A couple of the ones, we deleted a couple where you can see, we get shot, 14 was missing, 16 was missing. So, and what it was around that time, I think it's just a little bit, and maybe part of what the struggles with the wedge right now is just the transition into this new swing.
Yeah.
Because the difference is if we look up that line on club path all the way, your sweet spot sort of occurs, or your really good strikes occur as you're getting towards some of these like more neutral delivery numbers. So with the ones that we were struggling with were more out to in.
Yeah.
The more out to in the path gets, the more open the face needs to be to keep the ball on target. The more open the face is, obviously the less the ball travels, goes shorter. So let's see, where are we there? 115 on the average carry, 126, then 140 in the 8-iron, 154. So yeah, the
Gaps are kind of all over the place.
Yep. Yep, so this is kind of what we thought. But then when you get to here, it's like, no, we probably should be hitting 9 and wedge further if it's going to be in keeping with what we see here.
Yeah.
So 126, 140, 155. Then we get to 6-iron, 157. And then the 5-iron jumps right back up again.
So if we can gap them off of my 7 and my 5, then we should be good.
We should be good. So I've already looked at your wedge because when you said you were struggling with it, I was like, okay, let's see if there's something we can uncover. There was nothing in the specs. I do think it's something I would love to experiment with the club length.
Yeah.
I really would like to try some slightly longer length short irons for you. I just think from a delivery perspective, that's something that could help you with some of those full shots.
Yeah, I like that.
Because looking at the wedge and the 9, we definitely don't want to just play the loft game. We don't want to just go bend the loft to make them go further. So let's go back. In fact, let's do this. Let's go back into pitch and wedge. If you can grab that again for me, Paige. And with your feel, hit me something that has, like, you've got to turn one a little bit, right? You're going to kind of back in the stands a hair more, and you've just got to turn it right to left. Did that feel like it was towards the...
Yeah, no, it definitely feels better.
Yeah. It's living a little low in the head. Okay, and again, we're going to kind of keep pushing this path a little more right side. So the more we can get that path to the right, the more we can sort of get the loft down, and we'll start to sort of squeeze that carry number up a little bit. The other thing that's very noticeable as we go from hitting your 5s and 6s now down to your wedges, your tempo is so smooth when it comes to wedges.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably the other part of it here that, straight up data on the gapping session doesn't really tell the whole story.
It's weird too, because I feel like most people hit it better in the bay than they do outside. Yeah. I'm the opposite.
You're the opposite. Yeah.
I actually hit it a lot farther when I'm outside than when I'm in the bay. It's always that number though.
Interesting. Yeah.
I do think that I would like it to be a little bit longer now that you mentioned that.
Yeah. I think we should definitely try that.
It does feel really short.
It's kind of the only thing that we have up our sleeve now, because if we look at where the strike is, it's kind of living a little bit in the toe, and that's kind of across the board. So I don't think it'd be an issue of pushing that sweet spot a little bit more away from you. And I think if we tried something with the length of the clubs, I think that'd be it would do the job.
For the wedge and the 9-iron?
Yeah, I think so.
I agree.
I think so.
And then making the 8 a little bit stronger to match the 7?
Yeah, we're going to have to close that gap a little bit. Now,
same with the 6.
Yeah. The tricky thing is we're gonna have to probably do all this stuff at once, because the moment we make 8 go closer to 7, it moves further from 9 and wedge.
Yeah.
So we kind of like we fix one problem and we create another one. So let's just take it as we now know what your yardages are.
Yeah.
And we're going to build you a second set.
Yay.
I think that's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun to do that. I mean, the shafts that you use and love and that type of thing. I mean, they're you know, we know Bryson plays, you know, LA golf shafts. We know his tendency to play one length clubs. They're made for that sort of thing. So we can do this very easily. We just need the ability to customize head weights, and I think this will be cool.
I'm excited.
This will be fun.
Who knew I had so much in common with Bryson DeChambeau?
Bryson. I know.
I've started dodging ropes before I know it.
So, okay, very cool. I want to hit a couple of clubs just to experiment with kind of, is there room for a hybrid in there somewhere? Does the 5, maybe could it swap out for the hybrid? Let's take a little look at that and see if that's something we think we could add as the 15th or 16th club. Okay.
Feels pretty good.
So that's a really, really fun one to look at, because that matches the exact carry of your best one with the 5-iron. In fact, the numbers across the board are scary how quick they are. You do have the upside of more club head speed though.
Yeah.
So that gives you a little bit more runway in terms of what you can do with it. If you turn it again the other way, if you want to draw one, it gives you a little bit more of a stretch. How far does 7 wood go? Like in the 190?
195, I would say.
Yep. And I guess that's the worry, isn't it? That if 5-iron is on, it's good, and the gapping's good. But if it's even missed just a little bit, and the 7 wood is so much more consistent, we start creating that forced gap.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more with this one. That was really nice.
Could I do a 6, get rid of my 6-iron and do a hybrid?
I think we can definitely get another one of these in there. That one was, again, another really good one to look at, because you threw me in there when we were hitting the 5-iron. One of the shots we threw down the left side, and it went super low. And that one kind of threatened to look somewhat similar, but it really didn't.
Yeah.
Well, this is cool. Love it. Your ball speed consistency with this is so good.
It just feels really easy. Like, I don't feel like I have to manipulate the club in any way to make it go where I need it to go.
One more little change.
But no, I like it. I just have a lot more confidence, I would say, with this hybrid.
So good. I think with the Titleist sleeve as well, and I think, you know, the one thing I love about this particular sleeve for you is it gives us that lie angle change. If we look at where your delivery is today, you're not someone who's particularly high on your sort of your vertical swing plane.
Yeah.
You're really, really nice and low with the handle. So if we go to, you know, we want to try to get that lie angle a little bit flatter in the club. So if we go over to C1, we're actually playing this at more loft than your 5-iron as well. So not only has it got a bigger head, deeper body that's going to give us that launch angle because the center of gravity is further back in there, we also get a little bit more loft to help keep the flight up in there. We're going to not have nearly as many of those low runners. So good. I mean, the ball speed measurement would tell us that that was not every bit as good as the last one, but the result would tell us it was every bit as good as the last one.
Yeah.
That's what we want from a hybrid.
Yeah.
You want that little bit of leeway that we're not having to hit every shot perfect. If we go over into the table and sort of run through the consistency of your ball speed, 121, 120.6, 122, 121, 118. Look at our carry number now, 175, 175, 75. We flushed that one, 181 and with 179.
Yeah.
But all of those are about half of the dispersion that we saw originally from the 5-iron. So we could have had 168, 178, 175. it was just a little too high and a little too low. So even looking over at the ball speed there, again, just too much fluctuation. Land angle, peak height, 76 peak height. On this one, it's 79. So there's wins all across the board with you going to a hybrid. So I think the 5-iron might be making its way out. I think so.
Add the 6 to that list. Can you do a whole bag of hybrids?
A bag of hybrids. Okay. Well, there's some work to be done in terms of just optimizing some of these change-out clubs, because like we said earlier, there might be times when you, or maybe not, but there might be times when you go, I want to flight it a little bit, I want to flight it a little lower. I want the option at least of putting it back in my stance and hitting a punch shot. Those aren't the easiest shots to hit with hybrids, just because of the nature of the design of that head. But I think with your creativity, you would make it work. That'd be cool. Okay, guys, that was a lot of fun. Gapping session with Paige's irons that kind of turned into a little bit of a fit at the end with the hybrid. We knew that 5-iron was kind of a little bit on the edge of probably getting the boot. And it probably did just get the boot. So hybrid was a lovely fit, way more consistent, something we see again in the Bay. For players who are looking to always kind of knock the ball down, we see the value in long irons. We know that that's a thing, or maybe there's a specific hole or a couple of holes where there's par 3, so you're getting advantage of the tee.
Yeah.
But for you, I think having something like this in there, because realistically, this is a club for you that you're attacking par 5s with. As far as you hit driver, this is not a second shot club into par 4s for you. So I think if we can get the advantage of knowing that we're going to be consistent, knowing that you can rely on the carry, the force carry number, and be really comfortable with that, I think it will work. How did it feel? Okay?
It felt amazing. So much more confident. I think years of not liking my 5-iron and just switching out and making a change, and also not being worried about what people assume or what they're looking at. I think a lot of people get so tied into their ego with their bag, and they're afraid to take out their 4-iron or even their 5-iron because they don't want to be judged by other people by having hybrids. But I want hybrids because I want to shoot the lowest scores that I possibly can. And so again, I think that's a good thing to remember, is take the ego out of play.
And the big advantage of this, there's one more cool head cover going in the bag.
Yeah,
that's
or two.
Or 2. We might even get 2 out this. So we might need a bigger bag. That might need to happen. There's going to be a bunch of head covers. But the important thing, like Paige says, it's all about the scores. It's all about you guys playing your best. Having the confidence, not having clubs in your bag that erode your confidence. You're playing well, you're going along, shooting a good score, and all of a sudden you're left with that awkward yardage that you have to hit that club that you just hate. So we certainly don't want that. We want you guys to have the best 14 clubs in your bag that help you play your best. So we're working on that. We're getting there with Paige. Love it. Okay, stay tuned for more, guys. We'll see you again soon.